commercial shipping and shipbuilding. And we really are not a player, even though we are the world's largest economy. And so we rely on some hostile countries to sustain our economy and to support our military. That includes having an adequate naval shipbuilding. So the Ships for America Act is perhaps the most comprehensive attempt by Congress and the executive branch, too, and industry coming on board to try to address this. It's the first time since the 30s, since FDR was in the White House, that you've seen the scale of this. Now, there are issues with the bill. It's not a perfect one. Something this comprehensive won't be. And it will take years of dedicated leadership with a vision to drive this forward. And, one of the other very favorable things that makes this likely and why I'm optimistic is you have a president in the White House right now, Donald Trump, who is very aggressive on this issue and is driving all of the agencies in the U.S. government to address this issue. You mentioned the executive order. That's one of the examples of his dedication to this.
And so looking at the solutions put forward so far, you said more needs to be done. What would you advise to really take us to the forefront?
Well, right now, Congress has just completed a milestone event on reconciliation bill. This is good. We need block buys of naval ships to lock in the demand signal so that the shipbuilders know that they're going to need to hire more workforce, make those plans with that money that's coming for new ships, but also to expand their industrial capacity. It's atrophied to a sad state. It's not able to meet the demand signal just to meet a 300-ship Navy. We're down about 292, 93 as of today. So even just growing that modest amount is going to require some capital investments. That's what needs to happen in the near term.
And finally, Brent, you mentioned the China threat, and this is one of the key issues here, that China is advancing its Navy as well, building ships at a pretty fast pace. If you could just describe the urgency that, as you see it, in terms of modernizing the Navy and the threat that's posed.
Yes, so the number one national, core interest from Beijing is forcefully reuniting, as it appears more and more the only path forward for the Chinese Communist Party, with Taiwan. And being an island, it means it's going to be a naval war. So the strength of the U.S. Navy, in concert with our close allies like Japan, South Korea, the Australians, and even the Filipinos, that's what deters the Chinese Communist leadership from making the decision that today's the day to go. But they have a military that is modernizing, growing at a breakneck speed. More importantly, and most troubling, making the danger seem much more near term, that the leadership in Beijing may pull the trigger. Development of key capabilities like bridging and mobile piers that they can bring in at a massive scale so they can effect a large land invasion of Taiwan. So they are building everything that's needed to execute a successful invasion. The only thing that's standing between that and continuing the peace is a strong Navy. So it is a very real, and they are acting in a manner around with the Philippines, the Taiwan, and then, of course, our allies in Japan. They're acting as if they're less and less deterred. So, again, the danger is very real. This is not a next decade issue.
All right. U.S. Navy, more important than it's ever been. Thank you so much, Brent Sadler of the Heritage Foundation. Great to speak with you.
Thank you, and enjoy Fleet Week.
And same to you.
That's all for today's China in Focus. I'm Tiffany Meyer. If you have any feedback on the show or have something you'd like to see us cover, send us an email at chinainfocus@ntd.com. We'd love to hear.
I took two things that I love, dancing and dogs, and I made them into a successful business. Hi, I'm Ron.
美国关税这个对盟友也克哈，对全世界都来，包括英国自己也在克。它显示的是川普2.0的关税战跟川普1.0大为不同哦，大家要看出这个区别哦。然后川普1.0毫无疑问就是针对中国，现在川普2.0的话哦，连盟友也课税哦，包括要增加财政收入哦，包括这个要把制造业迁回美国，让美国那个再工业化啊，还有呢战略物资的话，像钢铁、汽车啊，那个还有晶片跟药品。这两类还要再宣布，这些都叫战略物资产业，就个别处理，另外处理。那么现在很可能你如果谈得好的话，像英国谈得好的话，那么钢铁跟铝的关税免掉，然后汽车的关税停留在10%，这些都是相对好的结果。所以我 相信台湾如果努力一下的话，很可能成为亚洲国家的抢头香。那么台湾的那个产业结构有多样性，美国应该乐见拿台湾做榜。